The word of God is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, and we are so convinced that the entrance of His word coming to you will give light and solution to all life's issues. This message is brought to you by the Word Center Church, Nigeria, ministering Pastor Segun Olaseinde.
In Jesus' name. Now let's do this, taking scriptural advantage of the leadership of the kings. I was struggling so much in my spirit as to where to start from. Because all of us, if we have read scriptures, we have read the book of 1 Kings, 2 Kings, and maybe 1 Chronicles and 2 Chronicles. And you have seen that Chronicles, and I will explain something before I start teaching. Chronicles is a book of the kings of Judah. Who noticed that? Chronicles never spoke about the king of Israel. You need to know that. And that is why, if you want to learn about the kings in full, the writer of Chronicles followed the royal seed of David. But the writer of Kings followed the old pattern of kingship, both in Judah and in Israel. And this month is about leadership. One of the anchor vision of this church is to raise leaders, world-class leaders that exhibit God's glory everywhere around the world. And thank God for our church in nations as they exhibit the glory of God. In UK, now in Canada as well, God is just doing great things everywhere. And we trust God that more leaders will run this house. So let me start. Introduction to this theme. One, I'll let you know, leadership is the revealer of men. Leadership is the revealer of men. I'd like you to please pay attention. Anybody can hide himself or herself from anybody until they come into leadership. Leadership exposes leaders more than it reveals followers. Leadership exposes leaders more than it reveals followers. It's easy to trust any man leadership as exposed than a good man who has not come to leadership at all. It's easy for me to trust any man that leadership as exposed than to trust a good man who has not come into any leadership at all. Why? Leadership is the revealer of men. You can't hide yourself in leadership. Leadership will reveal who you are. 2 Kings chapter 8. Let's do from verse 7. Let me read the story there so you can understand. I'm saying, let's start. I need you to understand this from this angle so that you can understand as we begin a journey in the month to the depth of what God has to do. But everybody is a leader. We get there. But you must know leadership is a revealer of men. And anybody can hide who he is or what he is until they come into leadership. If you want to expose men, put them in leadership. You will see the true color of who men are. Anybody is good until position comes. 2 Kings chapter 8, let's start verse 7. Let me read the story for you. See how leadership reveals people. And Elisha came to Damascus, and Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, was sick. And it was told him, saying, the man of God is come hither. And king said unto Hazael, take a present in the hand, and go meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, shall I recover of this disease? And so Hazael went to meet him and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camel bodies, and came and stood before him and said, thy son Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, has sent me to thee, saying, shall I recover this disease? And Elisha said unto him, go say unto him, thou mayest certainly recover. Howbeit the Lord has shown me that he shall surely die. 11. And he settled his countenance steadfastly until he was ashamed. And the man of God wept. Elisha wept. That's deep. If you know that man, the man who they call him bad head, and by that word, he caused 42 family to cry. He's a strong man. Strong man like him, don't just weep. But see what happened. And as I said, why weepest my Lord? And he answered, because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their stronghold will, can we continue? Will thou set on fire, and their young men will thou slay with the sword, and will dash their children, and rip up the woman with child. What? As I said, but what is thy servant, a dog, that he should do these great things? Elisha said, the Lord has shown me that thou shalt be king over Syria. Next verse. So he departed from Elisha and came to his master, who said to him, what said Elisha to thee? And he answered, he told me that thou shouldest surely recover. Come. Verse 15. And it came to pass on the morrow, that's the next day. that he took a thick cloth and dipped it in waters and spread it on the face so that he died. The king died. And Hazael reigned in his stead. What? Let me break it down. Stay here, face me. A king, stand up, stay there. A king called Ben-Hadad has a servant called Hazael. Hazael was sent from Ben-Hadad to Elisha. Hazael came because Ben-Hadad was sick. And he said, go and ask him, will I recover? So he came. He asked him, will I recover? He said, tell him that he will recover. But let me tell you the truth. He will not. He will die. What? God don't expose all secret to all men. Learn that. There are sometimes God will cast a shadow away from some secret for you because you have not run deep enough. He said, tell him. But don't tell him, because if you tell him, he will misbehave. He said, but it's not about the guy that sent you. It's about you. He said, why? He said, I saw what you're going to do. You're going to set the wall of Israel on fire. You're going to rip pregnant women open and cut children out of them. You're going to slay, cut children, do this kind of evil. And the guy, man was crying. He said, am I a dog? I can't do that. I said, what? There are many things you think you can't do until you come to leadership. There are many things. It's a revealer of men. Leadership will reveal who you are to you. He said, he didn't know, even to Hazael, he didn't know who he is. He said, I saw it. I saw what you are going to do. There is evil in you. He said, sir, I'm a good man. There is no evil here. He said, until you come to leadership. We can't be so sure. Most of you blame people in leadership too much. I laugh. We check this month. Even the one you are doing now, even the one you are doing now, ask many question marks. How do you lead your wife? I even haven't challenged me that. And you're talking about somebody who's leading a whole nation or leading a whole state. We get there. So it's that thing. So I can't be saying you are going to do it. So it's not about you. It's that when you come into position, there is a power in position in leadership that reveal who you are to you. Bible says, and he left the prophet. He's talking about when he became a king. Now, this guy is already sick. The king, Ben-Hadad, is sick. By a certain prophecy of Elisha, that's so sure that this guy will die. He told him that he will die. Then he should let him die on his own. You didn't hear what I'm saying? A prophet told him, see, this guy will die. Not you now. He said, Ben-Hadad will die. He's certain that he's going to die. So when this guy came to meet his master and he asked him, what did he say? He said, you're going to recover. I felt if this guy is a good man, just the sign of you are going to be a king. He could not even wait to be a king to allow this guy to close up his own kingdom and go. That this guy has to do a murder by taking a thick cloth into the water and spread it and cut off breath from this guy. And the guy died. So that he can reign. And the man is telling you that you are going to do this thing. He said no. Even the first day, next day, there is a revelation of who you are to yourself. Most of us thought that we have patience until you come to leadership. We thought you are a good person until leadership will reveal you. We thought you are a kind person until you come to leadership. We can't check. You can't say you are anything until you find a leadership position. And we can check by how you are doing it if really you are who you are say you are. Most of us are not who we say we are. We are not. Leadership will expose you. Leadership will reveal you. Because leadership will reveal a leader more than it expose a follower. A follower can be contained under leader and leader does not know who he is. But every leader will be exposed as they come into leadership. Please sit down. That's wrong. Sir, am I a dog? He did more than a dog. At the end of Hazael's journey, God says he did worse. Never say you can't do anything, sir. And we are not sure you can't. And I can tell you it for free. Oh my God. That leadership is where your heart cannot be hidden. You can't hide your heart in leadership. Leadership reveals the state of your heart. From the moment you enter leadership, sir, you can't hide your heart away anymore. Leadership will reveal and announce the state and the health of your heart. Let me repeat that. Leadership will reveal and announce the state and the health of your heart. We will check if your heart is healthy by leadership. We check. The state of your heart will be checked. The healthiness of your heart will be checked. If your heart is healthy, we will only find out when you enter leadership. What is in your heart will be revealed only when we enter into leadership. Don't tell me you are patient. Enter leadership first. Don't tell me you are kind. Oh, I'm a kind man. I heard you. But enter into leadership first. Let's check. Say, oh, I'm a good person. I'm a spiritually sound man. I heard you. I'm not fighting that. When I enter into leadership, let's see how spiritually sound you are. Oh, I'm a man of prayer. I heard you. Until God put a prayer burden of the whole people on you. Let's see. You don't understand what I'm saying? Whatsoever you think you are or you are not, don't be too sure of it until you have passed through the test of leadership. Whatever you think you are or you are not. Oh, I'm not a dog. We'll find out. We shall find out when you come into leadership. Now, let me quickly say this before I run. I'm trying to lay just foundation today. I'm not preaching. I'm just trying to lay foundation for what God is going to help us to be looking on to in the month of May. But can I tell the truth? No matter leadership you find yourself, which is applicable to all men, either national, secular, spiritual, communal, associational, or marital leadership, anywhere you find yourself, you are going to be exposed the day you step into leadership. Deuteronomy 17. God was talking ahead of Israel when they're in the wilderness. He saw ahead of their demand for kings. And let me say this because I'm going to say this very clearly. Demand for kings. Deuteronomy 17 from 14 to 20. God was sharing with Israel what kings will do to them. And these are the kind of leaders that God is afraid of. That's not leader. This we're going to read now is what God was saying ahead. Kings start coming after people rejected Samuel. He said, Samuel, we want you. There was a priesthood, and priesthood is under God. So God was the one reigning over them. But Israel want to look like other nations. I said, give us a king. We don't want a theocracy. We want a monarchy system. I said, no problem. But God warned them ahead. I wish you can read this. Let's read. So when thou art come, they are still in the wilderness. So when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. You will know why I'm reading this now when I begin to tell you some key things. And I close. Quickly, let's go because of my time. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. He's telling them the first rule of leadership is don't set a king who you don't know. And I wish I can begin to dive into that. Don't ever do it. Most of us just jump on their leaders. You don't even know them. It can damage your destiny. Sometimes even the one that gave birth to you doesn't know you for 20 years. He thought he knows you until you do something. Say, I don't know this child. How much more you just jump under leaders anyhow? Say, don't set a stranger. It has to be somebody you know from among you. Most of us are careless. Very careless. But he shall not multiply horses to himself. This is what God has done. He said, see this kind of leadership I'm talking about. That is very wrong. He said they multiply horses to themselves. He said no. They cause people to return to Egypt. I wish I can tell you more. He said they multiply horses. They cause people to, he said you shall henceforth return no more. He said, God said, I don't want you to go that way, but there are kings that takes you there. And that's talking about Saul, David, Solomon, Rehoboam, Jeroboam, break it down, Asher, Ezekiah. We are looking at something very deep this month. We can't even finish it. If you study Saul, you will know how not to be a bad husband. You will know how not to be. Just studying Saul can teach you how to raise your children very well. Because you will learn from David that David is a great warrior, but a bad father. You don't know that there are leaders that focus on the leadership takes them away from other leadership. All the children are terrible. Absalom, Adonijah, Amnon, that raped his own sister, terrible children. And Bible says Adonijah was the proof. He said David never rebuked him. So David don't rebuke their children. It's here. And it's a success outside, but a failure inside. There are leaders like that. Some of us have passed through some things. Your father is a fantastic man outside. But when they come in, you know that, in time, let's read for that. I don't have time. I just want you to understand the foundation. I'm just 15 minutes. Go read the rest. He was talking about, he said he will take your wives. He said he will take your daughter. He will take your children and turn them to soldiers. God was warning Israel about the danger of bad leadership. So if you take a leader like other nations, if you go that system, the leadership will end you in trouble and put you in a state you don't want to be. Let me really say something. There are key points to this month. Let me just mention 6 key points. I close on that so that we can go. At least if you have learned something today, that leadership will reveal you to you and reveal you to the world. Do you know sometimes I laugh? You know why I laugh most times? I laugh because most of the time, when I see people struggling for leadership, I laugh. Struggle to be a leader, I laugh. Leadership is for the reserved. Sure. Leadership is reserved for the reserved. It's not for those who struggle for it. If you struggle for leadership, you won't get there. It's reserved for the reserved. Anyway, those who struggle for leadership never get it. Those who manipulate for it don't go far. This is struggle for the reserved. It's reserved for the reserved. Let me just point out some key points and I'll close. Number one, every genuine leadership has its root in God. Every genuine leadership has its root in God. The source of kingship is rooted in God, though it's tainted by desires of men. It's rooted in God. It's rooted in God. Number two, it takes a leader to produce another leader. Write it down. It takes all true. That's why kingship is by inheritance or by overcoming victories. Kingship is by inheritance or by those who can take it by force. And that is why, if you notice very well, most guys that are not warrior don't end up as a king. Because somebody must have raised you and trained you. Number three, learn from the success and failures of men who are also anointed. So anointed men can have issues. Men who have weaknesses yet have potential with God. We're going to be learning that this month. Successes and failures of men, though they are anointed. And that is why most of us say that you are skilled for your leadership doesn't mean you are going to succeed. Okay, number what now? I can't hear you. Number what? 4? Okay. You will also learn that success ordinarily don't produce success. And failure don't produce failures ordinarily. Succession flow answers to a whole lot of factors. That you are successful doesn't mean you are going to produce a success. Hello? At this place, I wish I'd be speaking to you more about your dad and your mom. That your father failed doesn't mean you are going to fail. And that he succeed doesn't mean you are going to succeed. If you study king, you say success ordinarily don't give birth to success. And failure don't give birth to failures. Succession of men, continuation of a kingdom answers to a lot of factors. I've seen in kings a great man that produced a very terrible person. And I've seen a failure that produced a great success. It opens us to the fact that who your parent is does not determine your future. It's a lie. When you put your failure on your parents, you are a failure. What makes you fail is not your parent, is that you put it on them. That your parents are small doesn't mean you are going to be small. When you study things, you see how life does not follow that trajectory. Life is not a drafter. It answers to a lot of things that men do. So if I've seen a great son of an herbalist who know God, and I've seen a bad son of a priest who serve God. It doesn't make sense. That's not how it happens. That your parents succeed doesn't mean you're going to succeed. No. That your leader succeed doesn't mean you're going to succeed. No. And that your leader fail doesn't mean you're going to fail. Failure is not inherited. Failure is not inherited. It's not. And I wish I can deal with the mentality of curse. Because most of us understand curses wrongly. How the devil has stopped many people today telling them wrong story about their life. Number what? Number 5. The level of spiritual damage created by one poor leader becomes a burden to others. The level of spiritual damage created by one poor leader becomes a burden to all. And the level of spiritual benefit created by one right leader becomes a benefit to all. Do you know it amazes me, sir? Church, it amazes me. Most times when I read Bible, when I read Kings, I cried. I cried and I asked myself a question. Oh Lord, I think it's more burdensome to be a leader than to be a follower. I asked God if I would have preferred it, and I'm not lying. I would have preferred if I'm a follower than if I'm a leader. Because if I'm a follower, what I do stays with me. As a leader, what I do stays with all of you. It's like a oil that flows from the head of Aaron. It flows down. And I'm under more check than you for your sake. Because most times when leaders make mistakes, it becomes a burden on all. David was the one that counted the army. He was the one that counted. Not nobody. They even begged him, don't count. You should not count. One day, I just got a new package of some, deliver some clothes from US. So we hang it. And I wanted to count. I never read the scripture. I stopped counting. I just closed my wardrobe. I wanted to count what they sent to me. I could not count. That scripture came to me. Don't count. Most times, what you count your blessing, but don't count what God is doing. You're in trouble. He counted the army. He was the one that produced them. Bible says, men of valor, he counted them. And after he finished, that says, it was that counting came because the devil will rest upon him. Say, how many testimonies do you have today? Say 3. It's not much. What's your problem? Are you the one doing it? How many offerings do you have? I don't count it. I don't care. Bible says, God, as he finished counting, God was angry. The ones he counted are men, people under his kingdom. The one that was angry was God. How God react to counting is what I don't understand. Until today, I still like that. Immediately, sir, God sent an angel that was killing Israelite. Nobody died in the house of David. Not one person, not even an animal. And God entered the whole nation and was killing them for what they did not know about. Until he killed 180. And David now saw light, went to a place and said, God, Otito. But I wonder why God did not kill Absalom. No, kill Adonijah. Can I tell the truth? What one poor leader will do will affect everybody, including parenting. What one poor leader, the damage is going to create. I pity people. Most of us are not fighting your battle yet. You are still fighting the battle you inherit. You have not even come out of those things they created for you. Mentality, subjection of your mind. Some of you are still very inferior now. Still fighting that. You have not even faced your destiny. Because of one poor leader who can't handle you well. Can I tell the truth? Never. What the burden of one poor leader, sir, is what we are suffering in Nigeria today. One person started it. And all the nation is in trouble. One poor leader who can't think straight. Felt that at you. And say, let us go and import all idols from all over the world. And we call it Festac. Festival of the Tack. And they tack us down. That was the end of the boom of Nigeria. And the beginning of trouble. Till today, sir, all these little children didn't know what Festac is. They're still suffering it. One poor leader. One poor decision. So when you find yourself in a secular system, spiritual system, family system, and you become a poor leader, what you are doing, sir, is not just to you. That is why they will always tell you, Bible tell you, intention, because what you are doing is not for you only. One poor decision you make, sir, everybody will suffer. I used to have a friend. I used to have one friend in those days. That day I won't forget. The guy, we live in the same neighborhood. We all grew up together. So the guy was driving. The father has many cars. The guy was driving. I remember him today. May God bless his soul. So he came to my house and said, hey, Segun, let's trip out. And all the boys are going home to dress. I just don't feel like going out that day. I don't know what came up on me. When they have me Lojo. Say, no, let's go. I said, me Lojo. So all the boys in our street there, some of them went, the big boys. And they are going to Poli to go and have party. Those who are in Poli, we understand. And that Yabobo side, the car ran into the tree that year, many years ago. And those boys died. I would have been there. You can't spare the child. No, you can't, and leave the road. You can't. One poor decision. Whatever it is. One poor, I won't go more. Chechu died. Nothing happened. We all live after. One poor decision. Can I tell the truth? When you become a poor leader, look around you. Your families, your children, your grandchildren, those who will not meet you in your lineage might still be carrying the burden of that poor decision you made. I wish the husband of Naomi was strong. I can say, Naomi, we are not going anywhere. I'm not following you. The children are not following you. And you are not going anywhere. Sit down. I wish you can say that. But they all left. Naomi was the one that they said pushed. They all left. Naomi, the husband, the 2 sons. And when Naomi was coming back, he said, don't call her Naomi again. Call her Mara. Why? Only her return. The husband dead. The first son dead. Second son dead. One person's decision. Can I hear the truth? You want to hear the truth? When you don't understand the quality of leadership and you choose to be a one without understanding, what you are going to do will make you and your children and your children's children to go through a lot of burden. And if a leader find a national place, the whole nation go through it. A poor leader find a family, the whole family go through it. Find a secular, the whole business go through it. It is anywhere the poor leader is that means the influence of his damage. I want to start closing. What number are we? Maybe I'll just stop. What number are we? Number 6. What is number 6? Let me know if you are following me. What is number 5? So we also learned that poor leadership leads to poor outcome. There is no two way to it. It's like poor parenting. We affect innocent children. We just destroy innocent children. I saw a video some time ago. I saw a woman giving a 4-year-old boy cigarette. The boy was smoking, drinking. No problem. See that boy? Unless God intervene. A 4-year-old boy exposed to smoking and drinking. No problem. And the mother is praying. Oh, Ajeri, how? That boy will end up to be a gang leader. I was in Lagos on my way traveling to the airport. So the one that was taking me to the airport says to me that he does secondary school, what's it called? Evangelism. So I said, okay, I'm going to the airport. My flight was around 10 or something. So I still have time. I want to get to the airport. So he said he wants to do assembly evangelism for them by 7:30. I said, okay, let's go. Let me see how you do it. So I followed him. I was in his car. And his team were behind us. We all left. We got there and he showed me this guy is the gang leader in the school. The secondary school, GS3 boy. He has a gang. And he has a ADC cam, a bodyguard, who is in SS2. And he's paying that boy $100 per day. He said, when things are lost in the community, the principal will not say, "Man, worry. One about me, Ejo, and one in this one, and Elomu 5,000. Principal will not go and meet a phone 5,000. But they can't confront him. In the film, going real life. The boy JS3. Imagine JS3 child, and the guy controls the gang of the whole area. When he's coming, you can't. No teacher can stand. You see. I'm telling you, you see SS2, SS3 students. They are the ones, but the guy is the gang leader. They said the guy can kill you in 2 minutes. So I asked when I got there. I said, where is the father and the mother? They said, they are separated. I said, okay. They are separated. So who is he staying with? They said the father. What kind of work is he doing? They said the father will leave the home by 5:30 to return by 10:30. And the man is bringing money. So a guy who is richer than him. I said, if anybody told that woman and that man that what you are going to do when you are taking that decision of divorcing, will destroy that boy's life, you won't take it. So then now he's a gang leader. They said Lagos State Ministry of Education knows him as a gang leader. They can't phone my son only phone son. And the guy will call whoever is there. The phone to son a JS3 boy. That's the next MC Oluomo making. He won't finish school because he can't like school. Nobody is born dullard. We just have parents who didn't follow education. Nobody is born a dullard. So you can't have a poor leadership and expect a good outcome. Poor leadership will lead to poor outcome. Let me close. I still have 6 more to say. Those are just key points you're going to look at as we journey this month. Okay. Maybe I should say this and close. The fact that you are a leader, and that's another point, does not make you an end to yourself. Every leader anchors on a spiritual strength of another man. And those men are called prophet and priest. Being a leader does not make you an end to yourself. When you see a leader who is an end to himself, he will destroy himself. It can't be the end of all leadership. A leader must be getting strength from another leader, connecting, anchoring on somebody else. When you are the end of a leadership, you are able to destroy yourself easily. Are you getting me now? Let me explain to you why a leader should not be an end to himself. I will explain this. I will close. Go there. Look at me. There is a guy called Solomon. Who knew him? Fantastic guy, a son of David. Solomon was so privileged that only him reigned when his father is still reigning. Privileged guy. Privilege. And please, sir, can I counsel you? Don't start giving your children instruction by we. Don't your children by we. Now write it in we. No, that's not how to raise people. Raise them while you are still there. Let them make their mistakes and correct them. Will is not for you to transfer knowledge, it's to transfer property. Someone may be asking instruction. When I die, this is what you should do. Don't tell that child when you are there. Just tell him now. Because you don't know what they're going to do after you. So this guy. But David, come up. Let's say this is David now. I know you want to be a David. But David had, Pastor come. David, when it was raining, David had men, spiritual men with him. Abiatas. The Nathan. Nathan was a prophet to him. The day David took Bathsheba, Nathan went to him and said, you can't do it. If you are connected to them, they will always see you. Why does your prophet not see you? Because you are not true. If your leadership is true, that they will see you. Who let you make that mistake for a long time? They will quickly come in. When he didn't tell Nathan. Nathan find out. He came to David and said, David, you took somebody else's wife. There's a trouble. But God has forgiven you. He walked with David all through. This is Nathan. All the prophet, this is them. Because he's wearing white, So pastor is representing all the class of prophet and priest. Now, when this guy was sick and he wants to die, Adonijah rose up. He wanted to become a king. Who remember that? So praise God. He wanted to become a king. And was doing all his manipulation. But people can't see you there. So everybody can see you. So this is prophet. This is David. This is Solomon. These are all the spiritual men. Are you getting now? So Adonijah was a son of David. However, he was superior in age to Absalom. So is the next one after Absalom is the next one that is the king by natural inheritance. Actually, by inheritance you are all qualified, but in inheritance you are not all qualified. Not today. I'm a breaker. Why not everybody's prince become a king? It's a big thing. That day you will cry to God. I won't do it I will do it on a Thursday so I can pray. Why all prince don't become a king? No, not all prince become a king. And kingship is not by who come first. It doesn't matter if your father is a king and they give out to you, you're the first one. It doesn't qualify you. That is why Esau was serving Jacob, David, king, but not today. So this guy came, did all his manipulation. Nathan was the one that went to meet Bathsheba. Come. And said, Bathsheba, isn't that David promised you that your son Solomon will reign? He said yes. So they all went to David together. Took him. It was this guy. And David was the one saying, Nathan, you go and make Solomon a king. Who remember that? So this guy came. This woman was out of the picture. She's staying here. So he took him, make a king. This guy was doing well. They have settled these guys out of the picture. All the Joab out of the picture. Sir, who noticed that at the stage, Nathan wiped out of the story? The day Nathan left the story, Solomon began to do a quest of carrying 300 wives. I've always thought 300 wives was a lust of the flesh. No, was a hole in the spirit. Because the spiritual man that is giving him guidance is no more there. Nathan was as the age mate of David. When Nathan died, Solomon was left alone. It was the beginning of his escapade. Sir, if your uncle was caught and they call you from home and say your uncle just married 50 wives, what will you think? Answer me. Your uncle, they call Femi. One share uncle you can marry 50 wives. What will you think? What will be in your mind? They will marry 50 wives. Uncle me, uncle one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. What's the show me getting on Kaga? 40, 41, 42, 50. One uncle, what they about 50 women. That's a church. Okay. How will you think? What do you be thinking in your head? Something wrong with him. Now, what do you now think of David, of Saul, Solomon? 1, 2, 3, 4. After 10, he now started concubine. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. And you think this is just loss of the flesh? How many will he sleep with? Do you think it's about flesh desire? If you read it that way, you have missed a lot of things. The truth is that when a king loses his prophet, they begin to misbehave. Now let me say this as I close. Leadership will expose you. One, leadership is too dangerous for a man who has no spiritual root. It will destroy you. It will destroy you. Every time you see a king whose prophet died before him, it's always a trouble. Check it very well. It's always a trouble. And I've always not Solomon messed up, sir. Big time. But you can't fault him, sir. Because the one who gave him discipline, the one who gave him control and guidance, the one who controlled his father, when he want to make the same mistake of guarding women, nothing that stopped the father was not there to stop him. So the guy was just doing what he wants. And he did it to 1,000 women. How many days do we have in a year? So if you want to see his wife one day after another, it's taking 3 years and 3.5 years to see them one by one, just to greet them. Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. If you take these guys 3.5 years to go around all these wives per day, he's not looking for a woman. That's not a woman. That's something deeper. That's something his soul is searching for. And in fact, if he go more, he will find it. And he'll have all the women, but he missed Nathan, the one who gave him control. I close you. No leader is an end to himself. When you find somebody rising high, there is somebody beneath it pushing him up. Nobody fly on their own. There is somebody somewhere. Somebody somewhere who has a spiritual root, who says, you be the rock. Paul said something, said, Paul said, we are poor so that you can be rich. So we are the one that made you rich, yet we are poor. What's he saying? There are people that are spiritual, that produce men that are successful. So when you see a person doing well in leadership, he has a root somewhere where he goes and says, sir, I've messed up. And they can say, come, you messed up. They can call you and say, come, what I saw about you is not good. Come here. And they check you. They help you to safeguard yourself from yourself. There are many Solomons there. Your own is not women. but you have no connection with your spiritual root. How you take decisions on your own, fly the way you like, do things the way you like, have a wrong appetite in life. You're on your way out before you even started. And that's not a good way to start. Continue on Tuesday. At least you will remember, leadership will expose you to people. They think you are good, find leadership position. And I can submit to you, I will trust a man who has gone through leadership than a man who is very good, who has not tasted any leadership. Because a man who has gone through it has really been exposed. And we know who he is and what he can do. A good person who has not gone through it at all. May God give you understanding. In Jesus' name.
We hope you were blessed by that wonderful message. You can also follow us on our social media handles at TWC Nigeria. The Word Center, a people fat and flourishing. Stay blessed.